An updated look at the situation here with the US dollar, petrodollar, being used around the globe for the longest time. And we have witnessed what happened in Iraq, what happened to Gaddafi in Libya after mentioning trying to use a new gold standard to sell their oil. We have just witnessed Venezuela here on this world stage shift away from the US petrodollar into trading oil with the Chinese currency that is backed by gold. If other countries were to follow suit one by one and go this route, it would cause a big shift. You're seeing the beginning of it here on this world stage. It's not like the money masters. Don't see this coming, in my opinion. This world is a stage. It's why I say it all the time. If there's one thing we've learned here, it is that just throughout the past couple months, big banks have been pulled into court. They've been caught manipulating the stock market, propping up and manipulating the precious metals, the housing market. They got a slap on the wrist, and they continue to operate as I speak. How can that be? No one goes to jail. Well, this shows us the whole thing's propped up, meaning that when it comes down, it's to their choosing. You have to know a little bit about history here. J.P. Morgan and his goons gathered on Jekyll Island. They don't teach you this in school. But they created this false rumor that created a run on the banks. And they got rich while all of our grandparents suffered. The whole country suffered the biggest depression it's ever seen. It was pulled off through a scandal and corruption. And the offspring of J.P. Morgan still in existence as I speak, running the biggest banks out there, J.P. Morgan Chase. And no one has stopped them. It is known what they've done, how they did this to this country, the Great Depression. But yet no one has been held accountable. Now back then, obviously there was no internet, no quick speeds of transmitting information. A lot of people were blind to what was really going on. But we now see the seeds of those same individuals are still controlling things. These money masters behind the scene that JFK warned you about, the same ones that took him out. To me, there's a shift coming. It's not one anyone in the West or anyone that is using the dollars is going to want to see or hear about. But to me, it's just going to be one key event in this country that brings down the dollar. That will be just the shove over the edge as you have more and more countries step up and ditch the U.S. petrodollar if they feel safe, so to speak, jumping on board with China and Russia, aligning with them. They see Venezuela's doing it now. It'd be interesting to see if any other countries around Venezuela go this route, because if they do, that kind of fortifies them, and a lot of crazy stuff could happen from there. Venezuela is something to keep an eye on. And here on this world stage, I feel like the next vehicle is here. And they're ready to shift to that at some point. And I've talked about it in great detail. In terms of blockchain, what people have got to do to counter it. And if people don't do something, you're going to be facing it with nothing here down the road. You have to realize that China is laying out everything and digitizing everything, grain, rice, gold, the whole nine, putting it on this blockchain system where they can track everything globally. If the dollar falls, it's rather obvious. There's one currency, and that's the Chinese currency, that is in position to take control. Now, some could say, well, how could they ever let that happen? Well, by design, they let this happen. I just explained to you how the whole Great Depression happened by design. World War I and World War II, funded by the same money masters. Rothschild brothers break up, go to France, Germany. They fund both sides of the war. I hope you start to see how this is happening, because the next big event will be held by the same individuals, the same ones that brought down the towers. That is who will be behind it. Don't you ever forget it. So when is this ever going to happen? It's to their choosing. To me, they're going to carry this on until, I think, a big event in this country, maybe a lights out event, it ushers it in. It just pushes it over the edge. When everything shuts down, the economy, everything, so too will this. It'll fall. And to me, I don't forget their blueprints. I didn't forget all the knowledge we soaked up throughout the past decade of all their plans of what they want with the North American Union. Now, if you have Mexico, Canada, and the United States all hinged on this petrodollar, it falls from the ashes. That was their plan all along. Bring about a North American bloc. You see, and have 10 blocks across the globe, all with their own currency that interconnect, and then eventually one global dominant one. This can only happen if the US dollar falls. To me, they've set the stage for it. This is a planned event. It's obvious. I've just explained to you they're propping it up. They're getting away with it. They put this country into a Great Depression before. They've knocked down towers. What do you think is going to stop them? Only thing that can stop this is knowledge and people taking action, being proactive to do something. I've talked about how things shifted back in the times where the British, for over 1,000 years, were using the tally stick system. They came up with this paper money thing. No one wanted to use it. So they started kicking in the doors, confiscating the tally sticks. So they could do the same thing with paper money at this point. But they introduced paper money, and they told everybody, the caveat there was, we're going to throw away all of our debt. All of our war debt, we're just going to, it's all gone. The tally sticks is a new system. And it is what, it was one thing that got the people to say, okay then, if we're going to get rid of all of our debt, but how's this going to work? Well, you see where it's led to today. They can just keep printing the money. It's not backed by gold at this point. You know, and JFK warned you of all this before they took him out. So, in terms of the death of the dollar, where do we sit? It's in my humble opinion that we are on the verge of just that. The dollar is wounded. It's going to continue to take hits by design. And people need to see it. It's slowly already starting to bleed out by design. All they got to do is shift enough countries, enough of the economy and the money to the other side, and that's all it takes. Once a majority's over there, the rest can just flood, and it's done. The dollar stands alone. No one's using it. It's dead anyway. But what will be the next vehicle? I believe they're basing it on the blockchain. Just like they switched from the tally stick system to paper money, they're about to shift from paper money. You ever wondered how the beast could do it? Control every asset globally? On the blockchain. I've warned you. I've warned you. And you have to create your own righteous currency to stand against it. You have to have something to stand against it, or it's going to show up at your doorstep enforcing it. And I do believe there can come a day where they do the same with dollars. You see, with the blockchain, with devils running the game, you cannot hide your money in your safe no more, under your mattress. Keep it private. You have no privacy. All of your assets will be digitized. You can't even buy anything. This will create an underground system, a bartering system, truly underground, with people that don't accept the system at all. And there's going to be others that see the blockchain and utilize it in the righteous way. And they're going to set up, and hopefully someone can counter the fire for fire. This whole thing, it's just like a car. It's just like a gun. It's about who's running it. This whole system could be great if righteous people were running it. But we have corruption. And if corruption stays in power, even with a new plan, they're going to use it for twisted ways. It's obvious. Until righteous people take full control, nothing's going to change. And like I said before, it comes down to the hearts of men and women on where this goes. And the same money masters have cold hearts and do not care. So, to me, I see the shift over to the crypto markets as being an opportunity for some that know what they're doing to have a small window of opportunity to get in, get your gold, get your silver, before it explodes. Have a plan. And if there's anything I want people to do, it's to have a chance to get there, to get a piece of property, to get food, water, mounted up, and safe. That's it. And have that instead of getting caught in the storm. Right now, I know that those markets are presenting that opportunity for people to be able to get in and try to take advantage of it. It takes time, but a lot better returns that I see out of people that know what they're doing, that are able to reap the benefits. They're able to get in here and get a little something out of it and get their supplies and then be done. But you're going to have to realize you're going to have to start to collect goods that'd be good on a barter system. And you need to also utilize technology yourself. Blockchain can be good if done with good people and to your advantage. But once again, when evil people are controlling it, it's going to be no privacy of nothing, control of everything on a global system. How else do you think they're going to do it? That's it. There is no other vehicle. It is here. They've known about it since the 80s. This creator of Bitcoin mystery and all that's crap. They've known about this the whole time. So now that it's established in here, it should be a sure sign that a shift is coming in the offing. 2018 will be key to this. So without making this super long and drawn out, I just wanted to give my thoughts and opinions on where the dollar sits, the death of the dollar. And I believe it is bleeding out by design. And I want people to prepare. See what's coming down the pike. See who's in position to capitalize on all this. And you have to see that these money masters globally do not care. It's not about caring about any of the people. The kings and presidents of these countries have sold their people out, flat out. If you haven't got that by now and you're still attached to some of them and think that they're fighting for you, you're sadly mistaken. Anyone that ever stepped up to fight for us, they kill. And until you start to see that happen, unfortunately, you're not going to see that there's a rise. And I almost think that that's the repercussion of it. When you see the true rise, they're going to try to crack down. It's when you see that crack down, you need not fear. That's when your hope should explode. People are rising. That's the sure sign. When you see the first crackdown. And when you see that others are rising, that's the time to step up. Your numbers is your power. Don't you ever forget that. They shut the lights off, bring in blue helmets. Don't you ever forget. It's about us. Do not go Hatfield and McCoy up in this thing. And have a plan. Say it all the time. Nothing to be afraid of here. But there's everything to gain with having a good, solid plan for this, to avoid it. I could talk about this in detail for a long time, and I will continue in the live streams to talk about just this scenario. But I'm going to leave a link and leave it right here for now in terms of this, where it sits. But things to think about. Make sure to subscribe to my other channels, DAHBOO777, where I go live for Underground World News, and also Crypto Kings, where I'm trying to educate people on the blockchain, on that whole market, what it is, to see it for what it is, and to hopefully be able to create something to counter the beast system. We have to do it quick. And I'm seeing some hope there. Hopefully things come together sooner than later. Nonetheless, guys, it's time to make moves. This dollar's not going to be around forever. And I've already had the vision of looking back and wishing that the days of the dollar were still here. Because every last dime and thing you have and own is being tracked. I think about that. Buying something from one of your buddies, family member, anything. It's all going to have to be done on a barter, a new system, or it's going to be tracked. And that's where this is going to be going. Unless righteous are running the show. It's been DAHBOO7. And this is why I say Illuminati. To expose and get rid of that deception. Peace.